Hello guys, Colonel Ninny here.
In the previous video, part 1, we looked at the challenges of flying in bad weather just underneath the cloud base. From up there we had the added advantage of being able to see further from our altitude. Now, in the same weather, we're going to be navigating from just above the treetops. And that means we need to employ a few different skills. At this level of play in tactical air war, you can't just spawn in, take off and hope for the best. And by proper pre-flight planning, you're going to learn how to navigate at low level and survive. On the direct route between Shivers and Bierset, there are very few easily identifiable features. We have to create a mental picture of every object en route that will help us with our navigation. Of course, it all begins with pre-flight planning. Once the leader has completed the flight planning, he should go over the routing with the group. And a good time for this is after engines start up while all the aircraft are still parked. It's preferable to do it here rather than on the runway where you might be obstructing other traffic. Considering the total distance, I take 30% fuel, which makes me light and fast. Stop the video here as we go through these calculations. The objective here is to know how long it's going to take to fly between 2 points at the speed that we're flying at. And a lightly loaded C-47 is covering 5 kilometers per minute over the ground. This is excellent because that means it takes 2 minutes to cover 1 grid square. And now we can start and stop our stopwatch as we approach each point and anticipate where the next one will be based on the time. It's about 8 kilometers from the lakes to the road, which means about 1.5 minutes. This time, speed, distance calculation is very useful for you no matter what aircraft you're flying. Okay, so let's get en route. Remember that you're going to be going between your map and your cockpit many times during this exercise. Make sure you engage auto level at every opportunity. What we're looking for here is a railway heading left to right. Having left the lakes about a minute ago, I have 30 seconds before I fly over the railway. And that was it. Stop and start your stopwatch and look for the next waypoint. A word of caution here about engaging your auto level at low altitude is rising terrain. You may be flying level in a valley, but the airplane doesn't know there are hills ahead, and you should. We've gone past waypoint 4 looking for waypoint 5, and we can see the town of Gemblour right where it's supposed to be. My stop-start time will be crossing the roads just to the north of it. After that, it's pretty much rinse and repeat. If we maintain the same speed and the same heading, we just have to wait for the clock to tick over to the next waypoint. An additional reference point that we hope to see would be the town of Exie off to the north. And this really helps to verify our position because we could be crossing a north-south road anywhere. We might be flying off course by not flying the heading correctly or by a crosswind component, which might push us off our intended track. Crossing the next road in 2411 before we reach the critical point. That's the point at which we have to turn. And notice that we're crossing it at about a 60-degree angle. From the map, does that look right? Yes, it does. It's the only road that crosses our path at that angle. Do you recall that at the next waypoint we're going to make a turn to the left to a heading of 070? So pay attention, we don't want to screw this up here. And you'll also note that there is rising terrain here just to the west of the river. In thinking ahead, we should be able to see the road probably 15 seconds before we get to it. So keep an eye on the clock, think ahead. Check the map and look for other possible features that'll verify your position. So there's the river off to the right, and there's the road dead ahead. Stop, start, time, turn to 070. And notice that 070 doesn't take us directly to the airfield because at low altitude and poor visibility we might fly right over it and not see it. So as the time runs out, the airfield should be slightly off the left of my nose. And the last thing I want to cover here is the 1 in 60 rule. And this equates to the error you get over distance and time if you're off course by just 1 degree. At high altitude on a sunny day, it's not a big factor, but it is critical at low level and poor visibility. And all the while that we're navigating, going back and forth to the map and to the cockpit, we are not able to look out the window and identify hostiles. But back to this flight, we know that the river is on the right, we've got a railway line to the left, we've got a road dead ahead, and the airfield should be off to our left somewhere. We just have to wait for the clock to run out, and there it is. See the hangars appear set at 10 o'clock? Perfect. You can check out my How to Navigate playlist, but I'd recommend this one here, How to Fly and Hit Your Target in Bad Weather. This is the same thing, but with explosive results at the end. And no, I'm not going to give you the link in the description below. If you want to learn something, go find it. I've done enough. And so here is the end of another well-planned, well-executed mission. Follow these concepts, you'll be fine. Okay guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
As always, if you've enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please like it or subscribe. Or if there's another topic you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment. Thank you guys.